Welcome to Broad Ideas. Hello. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi.
Okay, our guest this week, you guys, this was a really big deal, especially in my household.
Oh, yeah.
We have Dylan Sprouse, who is one of the Sprouse twins, Cole and Dylan. But Dylan is with us today. I say this because my daughter recently, we watched all of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Sweet Life on Deck. Huge fans.
Great show.
It's an amazing show.
It really is. I agree.
But that's not why he's here today. He's here today because his movie Beautiful Wedding is out.
It's a beautiful movie.
Beautiful. It's a follow-up to Beautiful Disaster. Anyways, we loved him so much. He also bought Girl Scout cookies from Briar. Big
That's
points.
nice of him.
Big points over here. Rob, you have not bought cookies yet, but we'll get to that.
He bought like 35 boxes last year.
I bought a
didn't you?
lot last time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count for this year. So if you could just... Okay. Let
right.
us get
Wait,
to...
don't you have something to say
yes.
about this before we get into it?
Before we get started...
You got some explaining to do.
Okay, so I was responsible for all of the cameras, focusing them, recording them, and whatnot. I did pretty good
No, you didn't.
on most of them. However, when it came to me...
Did you do pretty good or you just hit record and left them?
No, that was only on my camera, in my defense.
Okay.
That should say something about my character.
Focus the other ones?
I made sure Dylan and Olivia were pretty good. When it came to me, I got nervous because like Olivia and Dylan had already started talking and I got nervous. I was like, oh my God, wait, we've started. I got to get to my chair. So I didn't even focus on me because no one was in the chair to focus on because I was doing the cameras. So I didn't even check it. So my footage is pretty much...
Yeah, Rachel's very blurry, but I think...
I'm very blurry, but maybe people will appreciate that.
Wait, why would anyone appreciate that?
I don't know.
We found a little bit of a hack that hopefully will make it not so intolerable to watch.
But this is just a warning.
But this explains why it is the way it is.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. I know you can't wait to see.
Still sounds great.
Awesome.
And it's still fun.
Let's get to Dylan.
I don't box.
So
but
he's just coming at you.
Well, but I trained for boxing for this movie for like...
I was going
did
to
a lot
say,
of boxing.
yeah.
The first movie, like that was one of the main things, right?
Yeah,
So the first one was Beautiful Disaster.
Yes.
And that was boxing.
And that was a lot of like underground fighting. So it was kind of mixed martial arts. But
Yeah.
but during the training regimen of that, then he's like, how did you train? And we talked for 15 minutes about that.
You know what, though? How did you train? Where did you train?
Trained in Bulgaria.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Did you shoot it in Bulgaria?
We shot the first one
You're
in
like,
Bulgaria.
no, I just went there to
I just
train.
went straight to
Just chilling. No, yeah, we went to Bulgaria, which was a great experience. And all of the stunt coordinators and the trainers there were like legit Olympians, though.
Amazing.
But I think they were like hazing me at one point because I had to do this move where they were like, all right, come in, charge in, then wrap around his waist and try to throw him down.
Right.
Oh.
Now, this guy was like an Olympian contender for judo. And he was a little bit shorter than me, but he's built like an ox.
Yeah.
So I go in, charge and take him, and I've never interacted with a human being that felt more like a brick wall. Like I couldn't even budge this guy an inch. And I looked around, I was like, what is going on here? I was like, I was not used to this feeling. And he just started laughing. I think it was like a hazing thing because he was just so stoic. He was able to root himself like he was gripping the earth with his toes.
He's like, this is a gift I have.
Yeah. Like, well, that makes you an Olympian, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Rachel, let's try it.
Okay.
Let's see if we can move you.
Oh my God. Okay.
We're just going to go into it. Did you get into watching boxing and stuff?
I've always watched, I've watched more MMA than I've watched boxing.
Got it.
Okay.
I have so many friends who are interested in that stuff. So I do tend to watch some of the bigger like title fights for boxing. But for MMA, I was always really into it.
Yeah.
And it was partly because of the chicken wings. I mean, I really like chicken wings.
Wait,
So,
what kind of chicken wing?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really discriminate on chicken wings.
You don't?
I will eat any chicken wing you put in front of me. And I do tend to like, I'll eat so much that I'll have like meat nightmares. Have you ever had those?
The meat sweats?
Yeah, but it's like you get
Well,
nightmares
no, it's
too.
a Friends reference. Wait,
Friends reference.
It
there
is a
you
Friends
you don't know
go.
anything about that.
I know. What the heck? But you do tend to get nightmares too if you eat too many. I've noticed.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe
Wait,
that's me.
But do you think it's
I don't
happening?
know.
I'm like,
It's like
do I need
your
to check
own
my
thing?
ancestry again?
Yeah. I was just about to ask you that because you
Okay.
said you'll eat so much that you have weird dreams.
Yeah.
And I just did this genetic testing because my husband would always be like, why don't you stop when you're full? And I'd be like, I don't get the signal.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't get a signal. Do you when you're full? Do you get the signal?
Yeah, I do. I
Oh,
just
okay. You
force
just
my
push past
body
it?
into it. Yeah.
Dang. So I found out that it's a genetic thing, that there was actually a mutation on that gene
No
for
way.
satiation.
No
and I was
way.
like, I told you.
Yeah.
Dude, you could be a hell of a like competitive eater. You thought about
Oh my
doing a hot dog competition?
I haven't thought about it. I could do
I'm
like
entering her.
watermelon,
It's
but
a
like
really
good
hot
idea.
dog. I don't know. Who was it? I think it was someone was like, the meal's not over when I'm full. It's over when I hate myself. And I was
Oh
like,
my
there you go. That's a good
God.
one.
I was a husky lad for a little bit there, and a buddy of mine named Mason Gooding, who I just recently worked with, again, was also a husky lad growing up, and he told me a trick. He's like, the trick is you put your fork down between each bite,
Ooh,
Interesting.
and I said no,
no.
like, I don't do that.
not gonna do that.
Oh my
cool.
God.
I also don't want to be bored.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying when you walked in that the testing that you realized your caffeine intake,
Yeah.
you are
So like
unstoppable.
Yeah, Ancestry like updated randomly, and I hadn't checked this for a very long time, but it has like a traits section now,
Mhm.
and it'll tell you, if you like think cilantro tastes like soap. That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
50% of people think.
Do you
it tastes
think it tastes
soap.
like soap?
No, I don't have the soap
Okay.
gene,
I don't either.
which is good because I like cilantro.
Yeah.
So do I.
Same.
You either
So-
like it or don't based
Yeah,
on
you
your
either like it or
genes.
hate it, maybe. 'cause
Based
it
on your
tastes like
soap.
Oh my God.
So,
Based on your
are you a
soap.
soap?
No, I'm not a soap.
You're not a soap.
I am a cilantro.
Oh,
You're a soap.
I'm not a soap.
See, look at us.
But here's
love
the thing.
cilantro.
What about asparagus pea?
Oh, yeah.
That is also a trait.
Correct.
Yes.
Does your
yes.
pee smell?
I am an asparagus urine man.
Did you know it's two different genes? Like one is that your pee smells, and then there's another gene that you can smell it. So you could be someone
What?
whose pee smells, but you
But
don't
not
have the
smell
gene
it.
to smell it.
I'm afraid I have both.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
afraid
I
I
have
have
both.
I
For
also
sure.
just don't think asparagus is that good.
Oh.
I'm not an
But how are you
asparagus
having
guy.
it prepared?
And I've had it every way.
Okay, fair.
I've had it every way. 'Cause it's not like when people are like, well, how soft is the asparagus you're eating? It's still just asparagus. It's not like it's
But
just.
it's so good.
so
yeah, but
good.
it's like it's one step removed from celery to me.
And you don't like celery.
I don't love celery.
Aren't you
don't
happy to hear to
dislike
talk about these things?
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Big food guy.
Yeah.
Big food guy too.
Oh, that's
Big
all we
food guy.
talk. No, we'll get into it.
It's like
Okay.
everything will be like, oh, that's cool. That's really interesting. So do you like hot sauce on your burritos?
Yeah.
Or are you like,
Do I? You know what I'm obsessed with?
do tell.
What?
Fly by Jing.
What is
You guys
that?
tried this stuff?
No, is that a hot sauce?
It's a Szechuan chili crisp, and I put
Crisp?
it on. Yeah, it's like a chili oil. I don't even really know the ingredients, honestly. I just know that it goes into my stomach in large amounts.
Okay.
But I put it on everything. I love it.
Is it
And I
kind of
swear
like
this is
what
not
is
an
it?
ad.
no,
for
but like the
Fly by Jing.
Momofuku like chili?
Yeah,
Is
so-
it similar to you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't had the Momofuku one, but I can say that I do love Szechuan chili crisp in general. But this
Okay.
one's just this one's really tasty.
This is
I recommend.
really
I feel
speaking
really
to
good
our
about this.
soul.
Yeah,
I really do. Like this is all we really care about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
This
be
is
yeah.
the
honest,
these are the important
snacks,
things,
dude.
right?
Yeah.
It's important to us.
Oh no,
It's
this is the
important.
snacks house. I told you. You know,
Such a
I
good-
mean, clearly.
such a good house name.
Oh, I'm going over to
The
snacks
I
house.
should have a sign. I feel like out front.
Yeah, I remember when we have a mutual best friend, and when I first met her, we were like, I don't know, 17 years old or something. She's like, I'm gonna go to dinner, or I went to dinner at my parents, and then whatever. And I was like, cool, what'd you have? And she's like, spaghetti. And I'm like, was there a side? And she's like, peas. I'm like, was there salad? Was there like, did you have like, was there bread? Like, I need
Tell
to
me
know.
all about it.
Yeah. And she was like, that was the weirdest question anyone's
No,
ever
but-
asked.
You know what she'll do? She'll wait. Like if you're eating, she'll wait for you to take a bite and then she'll be like, how is it?
How was that back there?
Yeah.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you do that? Like if your wife went somewhere,
Mhm.
would you be like, what'd you
Talk
have?
all about it. Yeah.
You
Talk
will.
all about it.
You'll want to know all the
of
things she had.
All the things. Yeah, I want to know all the things.
Yeah.
I'm quite a foodie in general.
Mhm.
Although it's funny because my wife and I moved back out here, I want to say 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to college in New York. So all of my like adulthood
Mhm.
food journey has been in New York, which has been kind of nice moving back here again, despite growing up here, because I'm rediscovering all of the food scene in LA.
Yes.
And I have to say, I do visit Pasadena quite a bit.
You do
Really?
for
For
what?
what?
A lot of good,
Gotta know.
lot of good food out here. What is the one that I should say maybe Pasadena is not the best way to describe it because I go even farther out.
You
Like I'll go get
out to-
all the Chinese food.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
go
In
to
Alhambra.
Alhambra.
Yep.
You know, go to Monrovia.
Yep.
Go to like, so
You will
I'll
go east.
Go through, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go through it.
Okay.
There's a place called Games Workshop, which I really love. And they have this one in Monrovia. So what we'll do is we'll go to this place called Luscious Dumplings.
Mm.
And
Is that the dumpling spot? Like,
it's like a Michelin rated dumpling spot
What?
that seats like 12 people.
wait, what's it
See,
called?
we need, how do you
Luscious Dumplings.
Luscious
find out
dumplings.
this stuff? Like who's guiding
how do
you?
you-
I found it out through a buddy of mine, Gulliver, who has an
His
amazing
name is Gulliver?
That's the
His
best
name
Like
name
is
Gulliver,
ever.
he travels and
like
he finds
Gulliver
you food.
Travel. Yeah,
Okay.
except his travels are all restaurant based.
That's amazing.
He should have a show.
He's very charismatic too. I
Yeah.
think it would work.
We're pitching it.
But he found it, and he's got quite a taste for dumplings. So
We're
Did he
going.
grow up in the
He grew up.
valley?
he did.
I feel like I
You know who it is?
yes.
Gulliver Oldman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure enough.
Yeah. Because when I was a
No.
nanny,
Yeah.
one of the girls I took care of had a big crush on Gulliver.
Really?
Yeah. So I used to like hang out and
No
yes,
way.
yes,
No
yes.
This
way.
really is such a
Yes,
small
it's
world.
such. I mean, we've discovered that we have a
Already.
lot of the same people.
Well, when you grow up in the valley, it's like its
It
own thing.
I love the valley.
Don't you love the valley?
I do love the valley. And
Yeah.
we would pop over to Malibu to, with that same whole squad to surf and grow up over there. And I remember there was like kind of anti-valley sentiment.
100%.
And I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking
You don't know what's up.
about.
You don't.
Sick. And then they all had to move there eventually when,
When they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
there was definitely like discrimination against area codes. Like
Which is
818 versus
ridiculous.
310.
818's no longer around. Did you know that? They like
I know.
canceled that area.
Wait, they
code.
I still
canceled it or
have
they
it.
just don't? She kept her 818.
I still have my 818.
Good for
too.
you.
See,
Yes.
We're out here, man.
you guys are representing.
But I feel like that's why you're cool, is because you grew up
in the valley.
I'm serious, because there is
Sure.
a vibe to people that grew up in the valley that's just really, you're relatable, down to earth. It's not this kind of uppity vibe, and especially if you grew up with all the Val Surf kids and like,
It's all the same. Yeah.
yeah,
I agree. I also I have this silly little anecdote I like to say about Californians in general because I think that Californians who were born and raised here have a very distinct perspective on California versus people who come to California looking for something. Which, by the way, like I know some people would condemn. Oh man, everyone's looking for something out in California. I don't care. California has always been a place people have been looking for gold. Right.
Yeah.
It's like that thing. Everyone's like a gold miner out here. I think that Californians, though, who were born here are the people who like sold water to gold miners. They're the ones who are like, we're not going to find it. So we'll just sell you water as a business.
I
instead."
like it.
Oh my
And
God.
that's the vibe I feel like
I love that perspective.
North Hollywood people have, or Valley people have. In
I
general.
agree.
That is
I agree.
such an amazing perspective, but it's true because we always say like when we meet other people that grew up here, we're our own kind.
Mhm.
And they're all the people that move here for things. It's just like, oh, you don't get it.
That's why Christmas is nice because the roads are really open.
There's
It is.
nobody here.
You can zoom down to Monrovia so fast.
Dumplings.
Get dumplings real quick.
You're gonna have to give us a list
I
of the
know.
places we need to hit up.
I'll send a whole list. Although I will say I'm building that list a little bit. So
Yeah,
I'll also
okay.
love your guys' list too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can exchange.
Because I haven't been here again for like moved 2 years ago and travel back and forth a lot, but a lot of the food places I'm kind of rediscovering.
Right.
Right.
And where's your wife from?
She's from Hungary.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So she cooks a lot and loves that. And I subsequently love it as well. But, her living in California, she also doesn't know any food places really out in California. So we're discovering them together, which is really nice.
It's so fun.
Yeah, what I want to know is you guys got married, was it last year you got married?
We got married in July of last year.
Oh, so recently.
Very recently.
Oh, what? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I need to know what food was at the wedding.
Good question.
Oh, good question. So this is, this was really great because first off, we had a conversation where we're like, well, we know we need to have a wedding in Hungary for your family.
Mm-hmm.
And they very conveniently own a wedding venue in Hungary.
Well, that works.
So we're like, well, let's do that. And we did. And so her family also is the chef team there as well.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
So they cook kind of a lot of traditional Hungarian food, which is delicious. And I will say, just as tangential, I think their like food laws in Hungary are just better because you could eat the heaviest food ever and lose weight. Like it's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of it's just farm to table.
Right.
Yeah.
So my favorite dish that they make is actually what they would almost consider more of an appetizer, which is the stuff called fásírt, which is like it's like a meatball, except it's dried, right? So it's
like a beef jerky dry?
Not that dry.
Okay. I'm trying to get a real feel.
It has the consistency of falafel.
Ah, okay.
Right? So you
Into
pick
it
it up and throw it in your mouth. The problem is that if you have fásírt, which you do in great amount,
Okay.
you need it because it's so delicious. When you have fásírt, everybody knows because it's like the burpiest.
The burp. I was just about to say you burp
food
it. Yeah.
ever. So what eventually happens is like 1 a.m. rolls around at the wedding party and like the place just smells of fásírt, which is awesome when you've had quite a few palinka shots.
Oh my God.
But we had a lot of fásírt. We had they do a lot of fry there. They fry a lot of their stuff. They fry a lot of pork. So we had a lot of pork. They make great stews, ratatouilles. Everything always opens with a soup, which is like a chicken noodle soup, kind of.
Okay.
But it's like a thin noodle that is specific to Hungary that I'm forgetting the name of. Sorry, babe. And so we ate a lot of that. And again, in great quantity. And of course, wedding cake.
That sounds like a very good time.
Did you do one here too?
No, we
Just
did not
Hungary.
do one here.
So you just did one there and you
Okay.
flew out all your people, or they flew out, whatever.
I don't have a super large family in general. So like, I think the total count was like 15 Americans.
Wow.
And like 130 Hungarians.
That's amazing.
sounds right.
So they had a blast.
That is awesome. And it's just you. Is it just you and your brother, or do you have other siblings?
It's just me and my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Just in case I missed something.
Yeah.
We're aware of the brother.
Although my dad just got remarried. And so now I have a younger stepbrother and a younger stepsister.
No
which
way.
is really cool.
How old?
16 and 15.
No way.
Which is really
That's
fun.
cool.
Which is like such cool ages in general because you can talk to them like you talk to adults, but they still have the whimsy of kids.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's very nice.
That's sweet.
The whimsy of kids.
So do you have a good relationship with your parents?
I do, yeah.
You're still close to?
I do, yeah. My father I'm very close to. He moved from Woodland Hills and now with his wife, Lindsay, my stepmom, they live over like in the Malibu Canyon area.
Oh,
good
nice.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Which
nice.
is really nice.
So you grew up in Woodland Hills.
Grew up in Woodland Hills. Grew up in Woody.
Yeah, in Woody. That's
Yeah.
right. You are a Valsurfian.
Yep,
If you call it Woody,
that's
you
right.
know, that's how
That's
you
right.
know.
It was although, like, it was definitely a different vibe there growing up than it is now.
Mm.
Because of like those malls.
Those malls are intense.
Massive
They're
malls.
intense, dude.
Yeah.
Huge.
I do like it. I just moved 2 weeks ago from Woodland Hills to Studio City.
No way.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like,
She's missing it.
I'm missing
She's
it
missing
a little
Woody.
bit.
Yeah.
It feels,
Missing Woody.
Yeah.
I'm missing Woody a little bit. It just
Yeah.
feels a little bit more quaint and kind of removed
It
from
is.
everything.
Removed, I get. Quaint, I don't. But
It
removed.
is a little bit more quaint. It's more like families. It's not as,
You feel it's a little LA in Studio City?
it's a little bit more LA.
Studio City, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Why we like that.
Yeah, Woodland Hills. Although there are parts of Woodland Hills that I feel like are very LA.
Really?
Apparently, and I could be completely wrong on this,
Yeah.
but apparently it's like the only other place outside Los Angeles that is zoned for skyscrapers.
What?
You know that?
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That's why the Warner Center buildings are big.
That
Oh,
makes
interesting.
sense.
Yeah. So like it's the only other place, anywhere else in California, you can't
Wow.
zone buildings that big.
I love these
Interesting.
facts, these kind of
I know.
facts. They're like Snapple
Some
facts.
woody facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
no, but just
woody
random
facts.
facts are my jam. Like I
Yeah.
love Jeopardy and you never know
Oh,
when you're going to use
dude.
it. I've really been wanting to get into the whole mushroom coffee craze, and I love IQ Bar. They sent me their sampler pack, so I was able to try their boosting bars and the mushroom coffees and their hydration mixes, and I need anything I can get my hands on that helps me kickstart my day. So start each day right with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all 3. Get 7 IQ Bar flavors, 4 IQ Mix flavors, and 4 IQ Joe flavors. And today, our listeners get an exclusive offer of 20% off plus free shipping. Just text IDEAS to 64,000. The ultimate sampler pack is a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. All IQ Bar products are entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners. Whether you're running a marathon or running errands, IQ Bar empowers doers with superior brain and body nutrition. Their plant protein bars are packed with high-quality ingredients to keep you physically and mentally fit. IQ Bars are vegan, gluten-free, and low in sugar and carbs, and every flavor is absolutely delicious. Refuel smarter with IQ Bar's Ultimate Sampler Pack. That's 7 IQ Bars, 4 IQ Mix Sticks, and 4 IQ Joe Sticks. And now our special podcast listeners get 20% off all IQ Bar products and plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text IDEAS to 64,000. Get your discount. Text IDEAS to 64,000. That's IDEAS to 64,000. Broad Ideas is supported by Vegamore. Real change happens when you are consistent, and achieving the hair of your dreams is no exception. Thanks to Vegamore. Sticking to my hair routine has never been easier, and I'm finally seeing the results I've always wanted. Vegamore products are 100% cruelty-free and are never formulated with potentially harmful chemicals like parabens or hormones. When it comes to seeing results, the key is consistency. I've made it a part of my daily routine for about, I'd say 3 weeks now, and I'm so happy with the way my hair looks and feels. For best results, use for a minimum 3 months for visibly fuller, healthier, and thicker looking hair. I love the Grow Hair Serum. I swear, ever since I had my daughter, I have breakage, my hair won't grow. But ever since I started using this, I see such a massive difference. Even my friends have asked me what I've been doing differently. Get 20% off your first subscription. Order by going to vegamore.com/ideas and use code IDEAS at checkout. That's vegamore.com/ideas, code IDEAS to save 20% on your first order. vegamore.com/ideas, code IDEAS. I have to bring up one thing, and you probably don't love talking about like Sweet Life or whatever. My daughter's 9, okay? So she's currently cycling through all of the shows.
Yeah.
Sweet Life was her favorite. She's like, Mom, this
go.
is the best one.
We got another one.
You got another one.
Got another one.
It must be hard.
She really, like, I'm telling you, because in the car this morning, I was like, honey, guess who's going to come over to the house? She was like, what? It was really cute. But the show was really cute because
So
I
good.
wound up watching all of these shows.
Of course.
But it was so awesome. And then you go Sweet Life on Deck. I mean, it just kept going.
Back then it was cool because like I think the sentiment behind making those shows was always like, all right, well, we're making a kid's show, but we have to make it enjoyable for the whole family to watch too.
Yeah.
It absolutely
And so
is.
like the through lines for those shows was nice because you had like parental perspective and you had all of the age perspective that's inside of it and you kind of related to everybody. And it was definitely a different way of making kids television, I think.
It was great.
From there to now, which has been great. But that's why I'm also like always so reluctant because we've gotten the question, my brother and I, many times about like, are you guys going to rehash or are you going to do something like that?
Of course.
And my inclination is always like, no.
Right.
Because there's something very special about not only the way that it's shot as like a snapshot from that time period, but also like, I just don't think you can capture that same energy the same way as you could back then.
Right.
Just the industry's changed so much.
Yeah.
Everything's
Life's
really changed.
changed.
Life's
Right.
changed so much.
Right.
And it's cool to go back and watch those movies. And maybe I'm just like an old man
Maybe
all on, but I'm like, I don't really like remakes of stuff anyway.
I know.
I don't either.
I get asked
I'm like,
that
let
too.
it be the magic that it
Yeah,
was.
like, it was like
and
lightning
let's move
in a
on and make
bottle, like
more.
that whole-
Yeah. I'm sure you get asked the same thing.
I get about like the OC. People are always like, and then you're like, but if you do you want to see us as like grandparents? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different thing. And I do feel there is a lot to just leaving it.
To let it be what it was. So what was that like? I know that, Rachel growing up, as a woman in the public eye, I think it's very different for a guy.
I agree, yeah.
Right? But I think that some of the things are the same. And I think that so much of what you've publicly talked about as far as like, there was different things where your body would change or things you would deal with in that sense. And I think so much focus is on not focusing on that with women and girls and stuff, but like nobody talks about guys in that.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about what that must be like for a guy to have any of that, or it's like not permitted in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I you know what I love to think about? I love to think about like old action movies. And I'm talking like back when leading men were in like the 40s, and like 30s, 40s, 50s, like those kind of leading men, where they're like, the traditional like action guy was just a normal guy. You know what I mean? Like the shirt would be off and there would be no definition.
Right.
Just
It would just be like just a big
just
guy.
like a dude, dad bod, whatever. Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
He'd charge and he'd like thwap, punch a bad guy in the face and it'd just be like nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that. It's funny how far we've come in the other end where everyone's kind of Marvel heroes. Although my thing is like, I don't really have skin in the game. That's what I will say. I know what I like. And I know what I like feeling is I like, for example, with Beautiful Disaster, I was like, you go character to character. You're like, this character should probably be in great shape because he's an underground boxer.
Right.
And this gives me an opportunity to learn something that I don't tend to do, which is how to get in good shape like that and be a boxer.
That's
and
hard.
do MMA.
Right.
Which is part of the thing that I find enjoying or I find enjoyment on sets because is learning those skills and learning things like that. But then when that's over, I'm also gonna eat really good. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna drink a glass of wine with my wife and we're gonna have burritos and it's gonna like, so I feel like there has to be,
of course.
Like if my other thing is like, I don't envy the actors and actresses who have to stay in really toned shape all the time. Because that's essentially being an actor or actress and also being a AAA athlete.
That's right.
Right.
And
it's really hard.
You're not, unless you're at the very top of the game, you're not really making money for both those professions, right? So it's a lot of your time taken during the day. And it's a constant thought process, right? Eating to facilitate the gains of that way is really difficult. But I do find enjoyment out of it. I
Mhm.
do find getting zen there was good. And I do think, to your point, I think growing up, boys were not scrutinized like girls were for that stuff.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, neither should be scrutinized.
Right.
Right.
So it was weird seeing that from the opposite end and seeing how much of that was happening. And then, kind of walking through that and coming out the other end and not really having thought about it while at the same time seeing so many peers who's all they were thinking about.
Mm.
Right.
And I do think, though, I am optimistic, though, that I think the industry has taken a good change. And I think the public perception behind that has been good to kind of do away with all of that. And there's still a lot to go,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think that it's gotten better for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, I mean, you've obviously grown up. Your whole life has been in front of people. Because didn't you start when you were like an infant, right?
Yeah, 8 months old.
8 months. I bet
was
you
gonna
remember
say
those
6.
days.
Yeah.
A diaper commercial was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poop on cue. But
Yeah, dude, just had to shit on camera.
yeah, you got
Awesome.
started.
Really good at it, but
Like that's where my love for hot wings came from.
Yeah. Oh, I got this.
Yeah.
How are those related?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's true, and I think, but it has taken a turn for sure. I think
Mhm.
better just because, or at least it's behind closed doors more than people just being outright
Yeah,
mean or bullying.
I agree. I also there is a certain point at which it is self-inflicted too, right? Because what you hear is the industry is making this person do that. Well, yes, to a degree,
Mhm.
but you're also engaging.
Mm.
So, for example, I do think that there's a way to be healthy and fit and feeling good at the same time as indulging in the things that you like and not doing it like a AAA athlete. I think there's a way of doing that. So, I don't know.
Balance.
There's a good balance there to be had.
Right.
Yeah, but it's
Can I
also,
eat burritos 3 times a day every day? Yes, I can.
I can
Right.
too.
And I want to
Yeah.
all the time.
I think she could go burrito for
Burrito to burrito with you. But
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm
yeah,
willing
they
to
used
take
to
that
call
back.
me Burrito Lou. But the thing is that it, it's like some of the things got so much attention, like you standing up for someone and not saying a fat joke,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
was so newsworthy because people weren't as sensitive back then.
Mhm.
They didn't know that they shouldn't be saying these things,
Yeah.
and they would write jokes or do things. But how at your age at that point did you know to advocate for someone like that? Because I want to teach that to my children.
Yeah, I think that truthfully, I just don't think those jokes are funny in general,
They're
Right.
not.
which is just the truth.
Yeah.
You're actually just talking humor-wise.
Right.
It's just not
Funny.
funny. It's
Yeah.
just that's just empirical.
Right.
Mhm.
It's just not funny. So there was definitely that involved, as well as the fact is they're not funny because it's actually just bullying.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just mean.
And I don't think that that's funny either. So, I mean, I'm sure that there's a ton of comics which would disagree with me, but I do think that there's better ways to make humor than
don't know
just
that-
pointing and
Yeah. I don't know
laughing
that
at someone.
comedians would. Because I
There's
think
some
that is
comedians
an
they can
easy-
do it and it's funny. Do anything.
Crowd work.
Oh,
They
anything.
can do
Sure,
anything
anything.
and it's
Yeah.
funny. It's just their
But I
timing
mean,
or
going for
delivery or
that joke, I feel like is.
being mean is just fucking being mean.
Right.
And that's the thing is with children,
Oh yeah.
Both of us being moms, I'm one, sometimes I want to hurt other children when they're mean. I'm
Yeah.
I cannot handle you being mean to my child. So I can't imagine what that must have also been like for your parents in the situation where people had access to you guys
Mm.
Yeah.
in a wild, crazy way. How did they help you kind of because you do seem really level.
You're very grounded.
You're very grounded. You're very level.
I
How?
honestly will contribute that I will contribute that to being a twin.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Yeah.
Well, because I think like part of the like idea of like the leveledness, I don't even know if that's a word.
Yeah.
Was because like in any experience, most of the people who experience this stuff experienced it on their own. And they were then getting advice from people who were outside their own perspective, not their siblings. And also maybe they were their parents or they're older, right? So they really can't relate to the perspective that well.
Right.
Whereas with my brother and I, we're experiencing it at the exact same age, at the exact same time, and always have the perspective of each other to bounce off of, to ground that relationship and be like, that was weird, right? Yeah, that was weird.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's strange, right? Yeah, that was really strange. So that like kind of backboard,
Right.
Yeah.
that's like, that was really helpful. I also think so like my mother is not really in the picture for me. But my father is like an auto body mechanic out of Woodland Hills.
That's, yeah.
So he's like, and he like could not give two shits about the industry. We were driving ourselves to work as soon as we got our permits. So like, it was like, he was like,
All right.
just
Bye.
get out of here. I'll be surfing and doing dent work. So that was also really grounding.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
We still had to go home and do the dishes and the chores.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is like some people like, whoa, they want to make that sound extraordinary. I think that's
It
ridiculous.
shouldn't be.
I think that's
Right.
ridiculous.
Right.
Right.
Like, no, we were just kids
You were being kids.
on set and off set.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that was really important for that too.
Yeah. I was going to say it must be, and you do seem really close with your dad, I would imagine. Because, it is with the parental unit, like kind of how that is a huge part of it.
Totally.
But even hearing as a twin, that makes so much sense because you had that him to go through it with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's literally like, oh, same face, like same thing.
Same face,
like,
same experience, same age.
Right.
All the time.
Right.
That is
That's really, I would
Yeah.
imagine. helpful.
Yeah. And I
psychologically
wonder-
that's bananas.
I wonder if, these people who we regard as like also child stars, which I think is
Right.
like used and weirdly as a derogatory
Yeah,
term
it
in
is.
a lot of ways. But
Yeah.
I wonder if they just had like a really close sibling, if they would have the same experience, which is obviously something that you can't really find out unless they do. But
What do you
Right.
think of that though? Because like, not gonna lie, my son's 8 years old.
Mhm.
He comes to me and tells me he wants to act all the time.
He wants to be a YouTuber.
Well, he wants. Yeah, I saw that you got a degree in gaming, right? Or like
I love
video game
gaming,
design
yeah.
or something
My
like
dad
that. Is
designs
that
That's what I
video
true?
did go to college for.
What?
Yeah, that's nuts.
My dad
Yeah.
teaches that at USC, I think.
Does he?
Does he video game making?
He has.
He has.
Yeah.
Is he a programmer?
We're
or
kind of
something?
like twins.
He's
We really are.
That's good.
Even though we
We're
don't
like-
share the same face, we share the same brain.
we
and
do
we'll
share
like,
the same
we
brain.
we have been best
Yeah.
friends since forever.
No way. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we have that kind of like, was that weird? Was it,
mhm.
Yeah.
What do you think about children getting into acting?
I mean, it's funny because, Barbara and I are getting to the point of like talking about potentially having children soon. And the
Practicing.
thought emerged. Yeah, practicing. We love to practice. The thought has kind of emerged, well, what if a child asks this question? And I don't know. I mean, like, see, I'm not one of the, I have only ever seen the benefits of doing what I did.
right.
Awesome.
Right. So like, I'm not like, I'm an optimistic guy about that. Like, it provided me such a beautiful life.
Yeah.
It provided me the opportunity to meet my wife. It provided me the opportunity to own a home, to go to college, to educate myself, to do. So like, it is certainly a vehicle
Yeah.
for that. I think that the other thing is though, is that like, there always has been kind of a point, this is a little contentious, but there always has been a kind of point of pride in my brother and I, which we're not nepotism babies,
Yeah. I hear
which
that.
became like kind of a
Right.
thing recently,
Right.
right? Is that
Yeah.
we're like
You're like, no, we
We're
made
like
it. We are our own.
Woody kids who
Woody
like
kids.
had a shot and we're like, let's just be maniacs on screen. And it worked. But then there was the debate that like Barbara and I's children would be.
They sure would.
Right.
Oh.
And then
Yeah.
so that would be, and at some point it's funny because I feel neither here nor there about like the nepotism debate. Like I don't care is really the truth. But you know, that vehicle, if a child was like, hey, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess as a parent, I would want to encourage them to follow any sort of whim that they have in that and explore it. Maybe they'd hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe they love it. And then I would help, but I don't know if I would like fast track them from the start.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that would feel yucky
That's
to me.
different.
It is different. But what I think is interesting is and I don't know if it's because from my point of view, like my daughter's always performing, right? And she's in the musical at school, like she wants to do it. And I'm like, oh no. Like my reaction is like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm wondering if that's because as a woman, I don't know. Like I've seen, and I've been very blessed and I'm grateful. Like my road has been pretty good to me.
Yeah.
But I also know what it's like and the rejection and the this and the that. And I just because you don't have a kid yet. So I wonder if it'll change once you have like that being.
The protective energy.
I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, but I do wonder.
Or maybe he's never been rejected.
Or you've never dealt with that.
Not
It's
a
like,
single
So I've
time.
never felt that.
What's that feel like?
Don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think like rejection is like part of it.
It is.
Right.
It has to be.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the character building aspect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Broad Ideas is supported by Thrive Market. I love how Thrive Market has all of the options I want to give my daughter. I'm so happy that Thrive Market makes it so easy for us to make that transition into going even a little bit healthier in our household, especially in our kitchen. I love that they carry all the brands that have what I consider the healthier version of things. It's made the switch so easy for us. Thrive Market is my go-to for all of my grocery and household essentials, and the convenience of getting everything online, then quickly shipped to my doorstep is a huge time saver. As a Thrive Market member, I save money on every single grocery order. On average, I save over 20% each time. They even have a deals page that changes daily and always has some of my favorite brands. I love that they have Annie's version of things, the mac and cheese, the fruit snacks. I mean, anything. When I go Annie's, I just feel better about it. When you join Thrive Market, you are also helping a family in need with their 1-for-1 membership matching program. You join, they give. Join in on the savings with Thrive Market today and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. Go to thrivemarket.com/ideas for 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/ideas. thrivemarket.com/ideas. Broad Ideas is supported by Sundays for Dogs. I love how easy Sundays is. You don't have to cook or prepare, no cleanup, no mess, and my little Gertie loves it too. Sundays is fresh dog food made from a short list of human-grade ingredients. It contains 90% meat, 10% superfoods, and 0% synthetic nutrients or artificial ingredients. Dog parents report noticeable health improvements in their pups, including softer fur, fresher breath, better poops, and more energy after switching to Sundays. I also have noticed the skin on my puppy. Not so pink, not so itchy. It's really helped with her allergies. Unlike other fresh dog food, Sundays does not require refrigeration or preparation because of their air drying process. Just pour and serve. When you start a Sundays subscription, you'll automatically get 20% off and free shipping on every reorder. Cancel or pause your subscription anytime with our 100% satisfaction guarantee. Every order ships right to your door, so you'll never worry about running out of dog food again. It was so easy to serve and to store. It's really no fuss, and it shows up at your doorstep. Get 40% off your first order of Sundays. Go to sundaysfordogs.com/ideas or use code IDEAS at checkout. That's sundaysfordogs.com/ideas or use code IDEAS at checkout. Do you have a tattoo on the palm of your hand?
I do, yeah.
What is it? Sorry to side. I just
Yeah, this is an old rune, which means like
yeah, I know runes.
the gift and the sacrifice. So I got it on my deal shaking hand so that no one can rip me off. If they want to get
Sick.
something from
Love
me, they
that.
have to give up something. And I got this like 8 years ago. And they're
Okay.
like, this will be gone in like 2 years.
No.
'cause you're just
Oh, no
shaking. And I'm
way.
like, it's still really thriving. But I didn't get it with the intent for it to be gone.
Right.
Obviously, I got it because I liked the idea. But
Where does that come from? The
the runes.
Yeah.
The runes are like the first English alphabet, to put it roughly.
But I
So
mean,
Hasn't
like-
my mom have you pick a rune from the bag? And
oh, she rune reads?
Oh yeah.
Likewise. Yeah.
Really?
you
Yeah.
do?
Oh, you would get down with my mom.
Yeah, I got to talk to her about it. Yeah.
No
it's
way.
rare. No, not many people do.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wait, so yeah, I want to know, how did that come
How did-
about for
how did
you?
that
Like,
come
how
about?
did you find this path? What is it?
Yeah, no, I was like 15 and
Mhm.
this is strange, but I was 15 and we were reading. History has always been my favorite subject in school because it was honestly the only thing I was actually good at. But we were reading through this textbook that was European history. And it was talking about like Scandinavia in general. It was talking about the old gods. And the textbook was, I think, Christian or something, because it made all of the gods' names lowercase.
Hmm.
And I remember like I was zoning out and obsessively like capitalizing all of the names going through the book, and which made me remember all of them when I got back home. And so I like did my own research, and then I was like, oh, this all kind of sounds kind of cool.
Mhm.
And then I heard about rune reading, and I was like, I'll learn how to do that. So I got some runes, and I've just been doing it since I was like 15, and I really
No
like it.
way.
What's rune reading?
Well,
It's like a form of divination.
So it's like, I know it's like its own text, right? But what does that mean, reading?
So-
What is reading, guys?
I'm like, what do you
How
mean?
do I read?
Can you teach me such thing?
You're like, I can read.
No, but I
menus.
mean, what does that mean? Like, what is the point? What are you reading?
No, I'll give the rundown that I know.
Okay.
Which is going to be very strange for, I'm sure, people like viewing this. They'll be like, what the hell?
We love strange things.
But so like, think of it this way. The first alphabet,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the letters that we know, this is clearly an X,
Mhm.
right? Well, it's also been an X for a very, very long time.
Uh-huh.
And before the alphabet was the alphabet that we know, in order to write it, you had to carve it, which I think older people saw as kind of a sacred act, right? Because you're actually giving it a body.
Got it.
You're giving it a shape. And so people attributed a lot of different meanings to the certain shapes of each letter.
Okay.
So in the same way as like tarot cards, people divinate with tarot cards, right? People divinate with runes. They carve each letter of the alphabet. They put them in a bag. You pick out some in the bag. And then the person reading, depending on the reader, they will then cast them for you onto a sheet. And then they will read and divinate your future based on the letters that
Oh
they
my
pick out.
My mom's never done that to
w-
you.
Never. I wish
Honestly,
we knew
probably
you
the-
did that. You could have done that for us
It would have
today.
been cool. It would have been
Yeah.
very cool. Although I'm a
Dang.
little bit of a mystic when it comes to it, though.
Oh,
so
it's like
I do.
private or
No, it's not like private. It's just that I'm like mystic in the form that I do find, this sounds terrible. I do find that castings are best when like the veil is
the thin.
lowered
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
with like wine.
You're like, I get
Right.
wasted and I
And
read
then
them.
you cast. And oftentimes they're like, wait, because you're closer to
But
Yeah.
what
some
if I do?
ethereal.
Because I don't drink. What do I do to get closer?
You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have
You're like, I
You're
just
just, I have to because I'm
I-
reading them.
I want. No, you don't have to.
But that's so fascinating. So her mom is so into all of this stuff. Like this tattoo I have is a sigil.
Cool.
Yeah, that her mom taught me about, and I got so into making my own sigils.
Sigils? Sick.
Yeah, that it was like I tattooed it on my body at 30 years old, and
No way.
I swear to God, all the things that I was focused on, I have today because of it.
See?
Why don't you explain what a sigil
Yeah.
is?
What's your
For our
sigil?
So I
listeners.
don't know.
Doesn't matter as
Like, I
long as
know
you
the
feel it.
word.
All
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know is here's how it was explained to me. Are you familiar with these things too?
I am familiar with sigils, but I think there's quite a lot of different sigils.
Yeah.
Right?
So the way she said it was like an old ancient magic tool where you take the first 3 letters of something that you want to call in, and then you make your own symbol with it. So
can I see?
yeah, it looks like a basketball.
Oh, cool.
So it was just, I started writing it. You take the 3 letters, you can write it. I did an S, a J, and an A. And then you form it in any way you want. And it becomes almost like a family crest. It's like your symbol, your thing to focus on so that you can then cultivate and bring those things into your life.
No, I believe in that stuff. I think that's really cool. Like manifesting and stuff.
Yeah. So with this ruins, am I saying that right?
Runes, yeah.
Runes, yeah. Readings. Does your wife do it too?
She does not, but she's interested in it.
She's interested.
And she's learned a little bit through my doing it with her. So
That's so
she's
rad.
interested.
It is so cool.
I wish you
It's
would've
cool
done it.
stuff. It's next time I'll bring my bag of runes.
Oh my
promise?
God.
Around,
I would
yeah.
love that.
That'll be fun.
Please.
And I'd also love to talk to your mom about
Oh, no.
because she's probably the only other person I know in California. who
Are
has
you
met to do that.
serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not very common. Most people, if they want to like divinate, they'll read tarot.
Right. My mom does that
She does that too.
too.
Does tarot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so, because to me, growing up with it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's like, you know what I mean? It's just
it's
what
pretty
you know.
normalized.
Yeah, totally. But when you say that, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I
it's
guess it
pretty
is a
rare.
thing.
Runes particularly are rare.
Yeah.
Because they're not very common.
Yeah.
And do you find that when you do them, they're accurate? Like if you do readings, do you do them for yourself?
I rarely do it with just myself because I find that you need another person to bounce energy off of to do it. Which is partly how Barbara has learned some of it, is because she helps me do rune readings for myself. If I do. But I think like accurate is different. Okay, let's say, how do I describe the like web of weird? This is like a concept that's like, it's pretty ancient. So imagine like at the start of your life, you're born and you're at the center of a spider web, right? And so there's a lot of strands going out from you in each direction. Now you can travel down any of these strands, think fate, but less permanent, right? Like you can jump from strand to strand depending on the people that you associate with, the people that you love who are your friends. And so that can be good or bad, right?
Yes.
You're traveling down the strands to get to that place. When you read runes, I think you're communicating with that web. So you're talking to the different outcomes of what could be. So you're not looking for like accuracy.
I get it.
You're looking for guidance on what could help find maybe a strand that you're interested in being on, or so you're not like trying to be, and it's not as final as tarot kind of is, I've noticed.
It's not prediction.
It's not prediction.
Got it.
Is predictive in that you are communicating with something that's outside of you. But like, for example, me as a reader, if I'm doing a rune reading, I never know what the people are asking. I never ask. So it's not like you'd have a question in your mind. And I'm just interpreting it and you are forming your own
Internally,
which I think to me is more elegant than tarot in a lot of ways. So I could talk about this stuff for 17 hours.
You don't understand.
Cool.
It's the most interesting. That and food, that's it.
We're dialed.
that's
Are
it.
we best friends?
Yeah,
Are we soulmates?
yeah, 100%.
What the hell?
No, but I do have a lot more questions on that. So in that, do you have a spiritual connection? Like, what do you buy into? What are your belief system on that?
I've considered myself a like pagan since I've been very young.
You and my mom are actually soulmates.
Yeah,
that's what's really happening.
Gotta talk to your mom. So I've considered myself a pagan. Although like, I think just truthfully with a lot of pagan movements, there's a lot of like distasteful shit that goes with it too, which I obviously don't buy into. So finding like practice for me has been a very solitary journey. And And I've met so many interesting other people who also consider themselves pagan, which I think is like one of 1,000 terms you can use to describe that journey.
What that is, yeah.
Yeah, because like if we're talking historically, a lot of that has been attributed to peoples as an other, right? So like they say like heathen, right? This was like people of the heath.
Right.
Pagan was almost used as a derogatory term by the church, right? There wasn't really
like evil witches.
Yeah, like witchcraft and stuff. All of it has this kind of root in being like bad.
Yeah.
While I find like most people I have met, barring some, have been very open-minded and very interesting in that way. If you think about it, like if there's so many gods, then by nature, the movement's very inclusive.
Right.
Because it has to be.
Yeah.
Because if there's so many different gods and goddesses, then there should by nature be room for everybody, which I find kind of lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would consider myself that, and I am spiritual for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's like, I think unlike, let's say, religion where you would go to experience worship in an establishment like a church on Sunday, I think just by the way that you live your life wholly and fully, you are giving service to the gods or your ancestors or things of that sort, which I do like quite a bit as well.
So,
And where does your wife fall with all this?
My wife is not, I mean, she supports me and loves me. That's better. But I'm also like, that kind of stuff, I don't ever like push.
Yeah.
If like yourselves, you asked me, I'd be like, this is what I like.
Right. Yes, but you're
I'm
never
not,
like putting it like
here, come here, let me tell you a story about pagans. It's like, it's the just weird vibe in general to be like, yo, religion. That's weird. So,
oh my God.
I tend to keep it as private as I want to, you know, like if someone
but
asks,
obviously you talk about it and you're like, it's not like you're hiding it or what, you know what I mean?
No, it's been such a part of my life for so long, which has helped guide me in a lot of ways. So
I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it sounds to me the most comforting part of any religion. Like I'm fascinated with all of them and all the spiritual practices and everything. For me, it's the ritual and the communion with something other than humans.
I agree.
Whatever that means to anyone. So it's like, it's all kind of saying the same thing in different languages. And it's like wherever you gain your peace or your connection is a tool. And it sounds like you're drawn to those tools in your life. And that sounds very simple to me.
Absolutely. I also do find it genuinely therapeutic to be able to be like, this is out of my hands.
Yeah.
Which I think just as a tool for human beings is really good. Now, I'm not saying being like going too far with that idea, because I do think going too far with that is also bad. But to throw your hands up and be like, well, maybe this is just out of my hands is a really helpful thing for a lot of people. Because I find that people who don't have that can be a bit narcissistic and egotistical and also hard on themselves. Because they're like, I'm like,
so hard. Well, everyone,
yeah, they just like, they feel like it's all their fault and it's all their responsibility that something didn't happen right or they weren't planning ahead. And
it's all ego.
Relax.
Yeah. It really is.
Chill out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went to a talk the other night, Gabby Bernstein. She's amazing. And she said it so simply. She was just like, hey, I'm not saying believe this, or I'm totally paraphrasing, but she basically was like, why don't you just try turning it over to something else and just see, try to turn it over and ask for a little help. Whether it's from your loved ones who have passed, whether it's from spirit, the universe, angels, like whatever you feel like asking for a little help or turning it over and just see what happens. And my husband was like, God, I really need to try that every morning. And I was like, right? Like, what if it is a little helpful to be like, you don't have to do it all on your own. There is some sort of something here to help.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's just a really healthy thing for human beings to be able to do. I think it's cathartic too.
It's
So.
just so refreshing to me to like hear everything you're saying, considering the amount you have, been famous in the limelight, like all of that. But just to hear, it's beautiful. Like honestly, because it's true though, because you meet so many people and it can be so different. And like, it's just very nice to experience.
I appreciate it. I think it's probably the Valley.
It is. It's all the
We
Valley.
already know it's the Valley.
Because we're like, clearly we get it.
No, but I think there is something really important in what you're saying too, is because I think a lot of times when people get into that industry or this industry in any way, shape, or form, whether they know it or not, they're making that their higher power.
Yeah.
And that's what they're turning it over to and thinking has the power and all of this. So someone who's actually been living in this for so long that's like, I turn it over to something other is actually really an important message because, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like it's hard not to think that the
these
powers
are tools
that be.
No, but they're tools
I totally agree.
Navigate it all.
I also think that like it's funny because like I've found now at least kind of to your guys' points about working in the industry that you're right. So many people like make the industry that higher power. And I think that can be unhealthy. But I will say that like all the people I've seen really find a really good place in the industry for themselves that's both gratifying and like financially viable and a lot of things. Also have like a ton of other interests that make them more interesting to people in the industry. Like you kind of have to not make it your full thing. Because if you do make the industry your full thing, weirdly people are like, you're one note.
Right.
But then you move away from it, which feels very antithetical to people who are like just trying to get into it and are like, okay, I'm going to focus all my time and attention in this. But then you kind of to be like, hey, you actually have to look outside of all of it for that to work.
Right.
It sounds very messed up, but I do think that that's something that is like healthy and helpful too. I think it's worked for a lot of people. And so I've tried to do that. I've just tried to focus on like, well, what is a life outside of the industry first and foremost, which I can see that you're even doing here in this lovely home, right? Which is like, oh, I want to develop myself and that too. But first and foremost, this part.
Right. First and foremost, we just want to sell you Girl Scout cookies. I mean,
which I will buy.
Okay.
Which I have no problem with.
Don't get it twisted.
That's our main goal here.
But you know what? You bring up a great point, and it just hit me as you were saying that. I'm like, wait a minute. That's also in relationships. If we make that person our higher power or our everything, you're all of a sudden you're not interesting to that person.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't cultivate your loves and likes and interests outside of other human beings, your job, your profession, it kind of carries over into everything, doesn't it?
I agree fully. I mean, that again, like, I think it also has to do with like, I think you guys can like find interesting things together too. You know,
totally.
I was never a hiking guy, but Barbara and I started hiking, and I was like, "This isn't so bad. Sure, my butt's sweaty, but this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be." So,
how did you guys meet?
We met at a Harper's Bazaar party in New York, and she cut me for the line on the red carpet, the step and repeat. She like hopped over the like velvet thingy and I was like, what the hell? I was like, I don't care how pretty you are. You're not going to cut me. She looks at me and I was wearing a red and white striped shirt. She goes, what are you, a hot dog vendor?
Oh!
No, she didn't.
And I was like,
I love her.
I love you.
Yeah.
I actually think that's it for me.
I love you. Oh my God.
So dude, I know, it was pretty great. That's
the best first exchange I think I've ever heard.
And we kept kind of like that same party. It is a fun story, and I've told it before, but it is a little lengthy. So if you guys sit with me, I'll give you the full run.
Are you kidding? Love the story.
Okay, so she hopped over. Then she said the quip, And then we kind of like chatted for a little bit on the step and repeat, and then we walked into the party and kind of went our separate ways, but then found each other again, funny enough, by coincidence, over at the bar. And we had a drink and I started talking to her. And we were chatting and she told me like where she's from. And I told her where I'm from. And I was like, how long are you in New York? She's like, oh, I'm only here for a minute. And then I was like, hey, I should probably go socialize with the other people that I know here. But wait for me by the door to say goodbye as a joke. And she was like, sure, you know. So we both knew that was just horseshit, but I eventually left and I was thinking about her. And so I hit her up on Instagram and I was like, hey, it was so nice meeting you last night. And then she messages me back, hey, I'm still here by the door. Where are you?
I love
her
And I
so
was
much.
like, that's hilarious. And so we chatted and we kept talking and we did the kind of like initial stuff. And I was like, hey, I know you're not in New York very long, but if you'd like to grab a coffee or a beer or something, I'd love to take you out. And we'd been talking for like a few hours at that point. And then she ghosted me for 6 months.
This is our girl.
Okay. Now she ghosted me for 6 months. Mind you, at this time, both of us were in very different headspaces. So we were kind of like, it was one of those things that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whatever. So we went, but the weird thing is that after that, I had ended up meeting a ton of mutual friends that we had had. And one of them actually was like, hey, do you know Barbara? And I was like, yes. And they were like, I think you guys should hang out. And I was like, well, I tried. And she ghosted me, so no. And he was like, that's so funny. That does actually sound like her. She's pretty scatterbrained about that stuff. But I do think that you guys should hang out. And I was like, okay. But I wasn't like, I'm not going to chase. I feel like that's creepy. So anyway, after that, I went to go film a movie and I was filming it in China. Funny enough, I was in Beijing for 6 months and I just gone out there to begin this 6-month shoot in China, which was amazing tangentially. But my manager, Bonnie, came with me and we were for the first little bit. And she was sitting in the car with me and she goes, so you're going to be here for 6 months. Is there anything that you really like wanted to do before you left? And I mentioned like a few things and then Barbara popped in my head and I was like,
I'd like to know Barbara.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is that I really wish I took this girl on a date because I met a ton of her friends and she seemed really funny and fun and I really wish that that actually happened. And Bonnie, who's very pragmatic, looked at me. She was like, well, look, you're here for 6 months, so don't even think about that right now. But she's like, but when you're back, don't be stubborn and just message her and hit her up and tell her you want to take her out. And I was like, yeah. 10 minutes later,
No.
Barbara texted me for the first time in 6 months after I had just mentioned
Said it.
And she's like, hey, I'm in New York. Are you here? And I text her, if you're looking to start flirting with me right now, you picked the worst time. Dude, I'm going to be in Beijing for 6 months.
Did you actually say all that?
I did say
If
that.
you're looking to start flirting with me right now,
I gotta tell you.
So
I
good.
gotta tell you,
So
terrible
good.
timing. And she's like, actually, it's not terrible timing. Funny enough, because weirdly, I will be in Beijing shooting a campaign for something in 2 months.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, then I think we should talk for 2 months straight. And we did. We hit it off. We talked, we FaceTime, we did all this. And a week before she was supposed to come out, her campaign got moved. And she was like, hey, bad news. And I was like, don't tell me, because I'm really looking forward to you coming out. She was like, yeah, my campaign got moved. And I was like, well, how's this? I still really want to see you. I still think it would be lovely to see you. I think that we should kind of go out on a romantic limb and still spend this week together that we plan to spend with each other. And I would love to fly you out and put you up if you'd be interested in that. And she's like, I'd love to spend the week with you, but I'm flying myself out and I'm putting myself up.
I don't think I could love her more.
Yeah, I know.
We have been together for 6 years now. So,
Wow.
So that was it. Once you were together that week in Beijing.
that was,
Done.
That's your girl.
the rest
That
was
your-
history.
I mean, it was done deal with the hot dog comment. I mean,
That was
She
for
had you
me.
at the hot dog vendor.
Dude, it was so quick. I was like, and I'm usually kind of a quippy guy.
Yeah.
I can get- but I was like, what are you talking about?
that's my favorite thing ever. Nothing
Yeah.
gets me more than like quick
Nothing.
wit and making fun of and talking shit. Like
Just
there's
shot me. Just shot me
Yes.
through the heart.
maybe it's
I
a
was like,
Valley thing.
Wow, maybe it's a Valley.
Maybe
Although
it's a
she's
Valley
Hungarian,
thing.
So
Yep, and she gets it.
yeah,
Yeah, but she gets it.
understood.
We should probably talk about your movie a little bit.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
do that.
So you had the first movie,
Yes.
Beautiful Disaster.
Beautiful Disaster.
I feel like that just came out like not long ago.
It did. This was the
Mhm.
craziest back-to-back filming I've pretty much ever done. It
Okay.
wasn't fully back-to-back, but
Okay.
by the time that the first one was released,
Mhm.
we had already shot the second,
Wow.
which is like
That's like unheard of.
it's very, it was
Yeah.
very unheard of. I was like, oh, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And so, we shot Beautiful Disaster in Bulgaria, and now we shot Beautiful Wedding, which is coming out on the 13th.
Mhm.
We shot that in the Dominican Republic.
Oh,
So
yeah, because it's
a bit of a weather change.
a
Bit of
little
a
bit,
weather change.
a little bit different atmosphere.
Yeah,
But it's so much fun.
it was fun.
I love that movie.
It's a fun one. It's like the second one and the first one. Well, the first one and the second one, I would say could be different.
Mm-hmm.
They are different from each other in vibe. The second one's a lot more of a comedy, I think.
Mhm.
There was a lot of moments where I was like, I kept being surprised. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh, they're like-
Here, for sure.
yeah, like they're pushing it here.
I mean,
Yeah.
actually,
Good
even like
ways.
the special
Yeah.
effect of like the steam coming
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
your
it's steam.
ears.
I didn't even know it was going to happen. When I watched
Oh.
it, I was like, what?
Oh, you're like,
Did
they
I
added
do
that?
that?
You're like, I can do that? That's
Whoa,
amazing.
shit.
And the little cartoons they come up with, there
was
was like,
fun.
I was like, oh, this is funny.
Yeah,
this is like,
it's funny. It's,
yeah.
Roger Cumble, our director,
Mhm.
he's got a sense for humor and
Yeah.
general.
Cruel
so
Intentions.
he did, yes.
I mean,
He did.
come on.
Yeah. He's legit. And he's got quite a sense for humor. So he's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
So we've talked quite a bit about that. And when I read the second one, I was like, this seems like Roger's all over this. I like it.
Yeah. It was great.
So you had
So-
fun. It was a fun shoot. And
It's also one of those experiences that's just like too good to pass up, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're filming with a bunch of people who are already my friends in a tropical
Yeah.
location
the best.
on the beach. I was like,
Let's do it.
You're like, yeah, I'll do that.
how do I know?
And you get to do a bunch of fun shit and it's funny and also like, what is the word? Sexy.
Sexy,
You know? I'm like, is that
Sexy.
the word?
funny.
Yeah. It
All
sounds
the
like it's like
things.
a little,
All
it's
the
like Barbara.
It is.
Is-
Sexy and funny.
Is that your favorite type of project? Comedy or?
You know, it's funny because it's definitely what I'm most comfortable with.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I think my favorite type of project is not like actually genre based at all.
Hmm.
It's just the project I know I'm going to enjoy doing on set. Because I don't really live for the finished product of anything, which is funny because sometimes I'll be interviewed and they're like, what'd you think of the movie? And I'm like, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I did see this one. But I live very much for the experience on set. And I knew that experience would be very good. So I was full in and I had a great time.
Kind of like this.
Was
Like this.
Yeah.
so?
Exactly.
Was Barbara with you when you were filming?
She was not, but she visited. She visited during the best leg of the trip.
Okay.
And so she came out there, but we filmed it. It's crazy to me how fast things film nowadays.
Right.
Because when I
Right.
grew up, I'm used to like 3-month long
Mhm.
movie shoots.
Yeah. How long was it?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Wow.
Weeks?
No, I know. I have
Dude.
a friend
That's
right now. It's
bananas.
like, yeah, it's 5
crazy.
weeks long shoot. I'm like, what?
Dude,
Yeah.
it's wild. They just bang them out nowadays.
They
I don't
bang
know
'em
how
out.
They do it.
But I asked if she was there because sometimes when you get, you're shooting and you have like your people, right? And you
Mhm.
guys are all in it together. Do you ever find it challenging to bring her into those situations or is it seamless?
No, but what I do find challenging is not while she's there, because while she's there, it's lovely and it's great. But
Mhm.
what I do find challenging is like making sure that there's enough time, because long distance is hard anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure that there's enough time in the day for rehearsals and shooting and working out and doing all the things that are required of a movie, and then making sure I have enough time
For her.
and making sure everything's good and she's happy and she's taken care of. That sometimes can be hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is obviously not a fucking chore.
Right.
But it I always want to make sure that there's enough time for that. And
she's the priority.
She's my priority.
Yeah,
So like what's hard is from the perspective of production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, no, I literally need to take this call for 30 minutes. I just want to face it. And they're like, well, how do we do that right now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we'll find a way. I'll figure it out. So sometimes that can be tough, especially with time change. But while she's there, it's great.
Right. Yeah. It's just something that, because it's just like you create this unique kind of experience and bond and whatever. But yeah, it is. It's not really like hard.
No, it's not really hard. I imagine it's harder with kids for sure.
Yeah.
I imagine that's harder.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Just life
is so hard with kids.
That's
it is.
probably tougher.
Managing your time when you have a kid, I will say, is 100 times different. Like your partner, fine. You make time, whatever. They understand. Kids don't understand. Like my daughter, when I went back to work full time, she was 3. It was the hardest thing I've ever done.
I bet.
Because you're like gone before they wake up. You're home and they're already asleep. And it like your heart.
Yeah, your heart breaks because all you really want, and that's such an age where just all you want to do is spend time with them, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you get there, you'll see.
Yeah.
Roger, funny enough, I was watching it. He's got 3 kids and he brings the whole family everywhere he shoots.
He does?
That's
yeah.
the move.
They're little kids.
No, they're like anywhere from, I think they're 18 to 14.
Oh, wow.
So he's got like
That's great.
kind of down the line.
Yeah. See, I think that's why I needed more kids, so my kid would have friends and
A friend to play with.
But now I'm like, well, I'm fucked.
Well, now you need a twin.
I know.
What
They need
we
a
really learned
twin.
today is everyone needs a twin,
Everyone needs a twin.
right?
Everybody needs a twin. But you know what it is? It's exactly what we all need in life. We just need someone that understands what we're going through.
Mm-hmm. As an absolute backboard, I mean, that's like the perfect understanding person though, right? Like everyone has someone that understands your position, but like that's the case where they're literally experiencing the same things.
Yeah, right.
And sharing the same face and all of it.
And all of it,
Yeah.
althougugh you're older.
Yes, I am.
So
Over by
you
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
I mean, that's
yeah.
a big. I feel like that's a big chunk.
It is a big chunk. I mean, think about that in mom time.
Yeah.
No,
15 extra minutes in the delivery room.
Yeah.
that's
It's a long one.
Yeah.
That is. That might as well have been the next day.
Yeah, Cole was like this on the way out, scraping the walls.
That's amazing.
Wild.
You are incredible.
Yes.
I am just.
Thank you. Likewise.
It's been so nice talking to you and meeting you.
This has been lovely.
I'm so happy you feel that way. And truly, and like, it's just so funny because we just watched you guys as kids, of course, but
Little babies.
little babies. But I loved
Yeah.
I laughed. I mean, I'm telling
It's a
you,
fun one.
you guys are funny.
It's the reason it stays.
You know what you're doing.
We know what we're doing.
Okay, wait, last thing. Do you have a favorite project that, if you could look back at your whole huge resume, is there one that sticks out the most?
You know, I have a few.
Okay, you could say a few.
Because like there's experience. My favorite one that I've made recently, I'll do that.
Okay, great.
Is I just executive produced my first project, actually, with some very close friends of mine. And we made this movie called The Duel, which was, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say.
Got it. You can also let us know later and we can edit anything out.
Perfect.
Yes.
I do think it's my favorite finished product I've made.
Oh, that's cool. And you don't even pay attention to finished product.
No, and I lived so much for the experience, which was also great. So that is one, and that should be coming out in theaters this year, which is very exciting.
That is.
And so
Come back and talk about that.
I'll be back.
Yeah,
please.
And I'll bring
will
the
you do a
runes.
promise?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to bring.
But your mom's got to be there too.
Oh yeah, my mom will
We'll
be
do
here. The runes will be here.
We're dialed.
Well, yeah, we'll turn
have it
down
all
the
figured
lights. You
out.
can drink wine.
I'd love to meet Barbara. I mean, come on.
We'll bring her.
She also really wants to see more of Pasadena too. She likes this area.
It's so nice because you don't feel like you're in LA. Like there's just not. I mean, if you get, once you move more towards family, whatever, kids,
I think that's the plan. We're looking east.
We're
Yeah,
looking
no,
east
I'm
on the
big,
highway, not in general. So I definitely want to see.
Yeah.
Pasadena.
Well, hey, I'm your girl. You got any questions?
I'm trading you my list of food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
we have
yes,
all
yes.
the things.
And our
Back
producer, Rob, is
Oh, he's the biggest foodie ever.
humongous foodie.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys
like,
are so dialed in.
Yeah.
oh my God.
So
What you're
we'll
posting
in all
is
areas.
crazy.
we'll trade lists.
Let's do it. Thank you
Mario
guys
is
again.
not going to be as fun as we were.
He's a pretty fun guy, but he's not as fun as you.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, we didn't go boxing, but whatever.
We
There's
did
always time to go boxing.
There's always time to go, literally go boxing.
He would say any time of the day. I would
We
say.
saw, you know,
What
Very
time is
specific
it?
guy.
Boxing time.
it's
Boxing
boxing time. We saw the, I always
What
say
did we see?
Mayweather. I know it's Mayweather.
Yeah,
Mayweather and
Yes.
McGregor fight in Vegas.
Fight.
Like
We
10,
did.
was that
We were
10 years
there.
ago? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
How
a
was it?
big, it was very
I was
short.
live.
Great. It was cool. Like we were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We wound up there like on a fluke. It was a really funny story, but yeah.
I'm
That's
surprised
funny.
you didn't train with the Goosens growing up in the valley.
Oh, do you
The
know the
Goosens?
Goosens?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
What is it? 10 Goose Boxing? Is that what it is? My brother-in-law is a world champion boxer.
I trained at Simon Ree's Taekwondo studio.
Where's that?
It was right next to Val Surf, funny enough, but now
No way.
they shut it down during COVID.
Oh.
So we opened up a new studio, I think out here actually.
Really?
Yeah. And it was funny because I trained with him for many years when I was very young. And then I just shot a movie and it was an action movie and he was the stunt coordinator. And
Oh,
I
that's
hadn't
awesome.
seen him
No
in years.
way.
Simon, it's so crazy to like have my Taekwondo master now being the stunt coordinator. And I
That's
saw him
awesome.
for the first time as an adult. It was very fun.
That's very
amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Full
Oh my
circle.
gosh.
Everyone knows.
Yes. Dylan,
All right,
thank you
we'll
so
let
much.
you go. You know what we need to do, Rob?
Oh,
A
man,
follow-up, have a follow-up laundry conversation.
Yes, that's right.
Rachel,
Guess
Rachel,
what?
do you want to get in on
No!
that?
Guess what, Rachel? People like it. Rob, can
I-
we share some of those pictures you sent us?
What?
Sure,
He
you
sent
can hold
us
them up to the
pictures.
oh,
screen
of
if
his
you want.
laundry.
Yeah. His sock game is so on point that it made me rethink my whole sock game. Because I thought having them matched and put in the drawer was enough. It's not enough, people.
Mm-mm.
There's steps further that you can go. And I want to share the pictures so that people know this.
Do you want to know where I think the inspiration for that sock drawer came?
Absolutely.
I think it was an episode of The Brady Bunch. Do you remember, was it Marcia has her sock drawer
Yeah.
and they show it and it's like that?
I
It
don't
is?
remember. I'm gonna
Oh my
have to
God,
look that
From
up.
like the 90s.
No, the Brady
You mean
Bunch.
the movie?
The TV show.
That wasn't the 90s.
The Brady
80s?
Bunch is from like the 70s, Rob.
Okay. Well, from when I watched The Brady Bunch in the, in the
In the
90s.
90s.
on
Did
Nick
you
at Night.
actually think it was from the 90s?
No,
The
but I
Brady
watched it on Nick at Night in
Oh,
I
the
wonder if I
90s.
could
Night.
find a picture of
I
Marcia's sock
loved-
drawer.
Bunch? I loved Nick at Night.
I didn't.
Me too.
I certainly didn't watch it in the 70s or the 80s.
when you weren't born. I just wanted you guys to know,
Mhm.
folding, laundry, whatever, you guys should look when I pack a suitcase. Now that is some folding and organizing that might blow your mind.
Do you roll or do you fold?
It depends on the suitcase and the amount of clothing and where I'm going.
We'll get into that next time both of us travel because I have a strong suitcase
I
pack
imagine
too.
you do. One of my favorite challenges is fitting everything into a carry-on. It's like a challenge, an obstacle. Like, can I do it?
Yeah, you do that.
I do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't do that.
So I will tell you guys, yes, it's a challenge for me. I always try to bring a carry-on. I feel very proud. But this past Christmas, I checked
Gave you
the
my
bag.
heart.
I checked a bag coming back and I felt so free.
So free.
I know, it's
I'm
nice.
so happy. Although the one disadvantage, because I normally have my rolly carry-on and then like your bag, right?
Too much.
Hold on. No, I just had a bag and I didn't have the rolly to put the bag on.
Oh,
Oh.
shoulder.
Yes.
I hear that.
Yes.
Yeah, backpacks are tough in airports.
It was not a backpack. It was a tote. I normally do. I'm going to give a shout out, and this is not, I'm not, and My Patagonia Black Hole backpack
Oh, yeah.
is the best travel bag I've ever had. It holds so much. It can be a backpack. It can be a bag. It's like a duff. Let me just tell you.
She loves that thing.
It does come on wheels, and I don't have that yet, and I really want it. But
Mm.
they're expensive, so it's an investment. Anyway, that's my endorsement for traveling. The Black Hole Patagonia backpack.
Packing questions. Both of you. Do you pack enough socks and underwear for your whole stay there?
Yes.
Or do
Yeah.
you plan on laundry in between?
I don't want to have to rely on laundry.
Agreed. Even if there is laundry there, I'll pack enough for it. I mean, unless you're
Outfits too?
Yeah, unless you're going for over a week.
That's what I'm talking about, like 10 days.
No, but I can reuse socks because I don't have stinky feet. So like I can wear socks for like maybe 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Before I'm like, oh, I got to wash those just because.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Same.
Yeah. But underwear I have.
10 pairs of underwear,
pairs of
but like
underwear,
maybe
but less
5
socks.
pairs of socks.
Yep.
Yeah. How often do you wash your jeans though? Do you wash your jeans?
I'll bring like 2 or 3 pairs of pants only.
But do you wash your jeans? Because I know there's certain guys that would never wash their jeans. It's like a thing. You're not supposed to wash them. They would put them outside to let them clean in the fresh air.
What?
Well, no, there was like a raw denim phase that
Oh,
went
That's
around.
it. Yeah.
And you're not
Yeah.
supposed to wash raw denim too much. You like
Right.
put them in the freezer instead because it'll kill any germs and smell.
In the freezer?
Uh-huh.
Can I ask you guys something? Who has enough room in their freezer? Not only jeans, but this is another question. Like, let's say you're making something and they're like, you have to chill it, like a whole cookie sheet or like
Yeah.
whatever. Who has that space in a freezer to do that? Do you?
You could if you clean it out. You've
No,
had the same stuff
even
in your
if you-
freezer that's not
The
used.
shelves are small.
But no, I don't buy raw denim, so I wash
Okay.
my jeans. I still will wear them a lot before washing
What makes
them.
it raw denim?
I think it's just the way it's made.
Wash?
The way it's made and like the dye, if you wash it, it starts to wear the color out more. I think.
I know what it looks like. Like I can picture it, but I'm just wondering if like there's a science to it. I imagine.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's riveting.
Could you
right?
imagine Rob in like just raw denim and like the boots and like that whole look?
No.
Like always.
No.
Rob always in raw denim.
Just raw.
Raw Robin.
Raw Robin.
Raw Robin.
Just raw Robin.
I don't like when my jeans get washed because you have to like break them in every time again. You know, they get a little stiff.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Certain ones I need washed to wear and certain ones I don't want.
I know.
washed.
If it has some stretch to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you put them in the freezer?
Rachel and I both have like a weird thing about jeans and like a real strong, diehard
For
affinity
Levi's.
for Levi's.
What I really love is vintage Levi's, and I love going to the flea markets and just fucking
Yeah.
going to town.
You guys didn't answer how you feel about washing jeans, though.
I don't love washing them.
I do like 3 wears and then a wash. Depending on the jeans. Certain jeans you need to wash because they need to fit a certain way.
The ones I have on right now were washed, and they're the ones that like don't need to be washed like that often, and they're a little tight.
Yeah, I don't like that feeling.
No, I do squats.
Deep knee bends.
Yep. Try to
In
loosen them up.
in your room in the morning, you're doing squats.
You should have seen Briar saw me doing it in the kitchen the other day. She's like, Mom, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, she knows how to do it?
Yeah.
Right?
She's like, you don't go all the way down to the ground. I'm like, I'm breaking in my jeans.
I remember growing up, my mom, I'd be like, Mom, what are you doing? She'd be like, deep knee bends. Like to stretch them out.
Yeah.
My mom used to go to the grocery store when I was growing up in high heels. Do you understand how savage that is?
It's so Patricia.
Never once in my entire life did I see her in a flat shoe. Never.
Now?
Still a little heel. If she puts on a tennis shoe, they're like, it's like, what is happening? Even in her flats, there's a bit of a wedge.
She never ceases to amaze me.
As a child, we'd go grocery shopping. I'm talking about pumps.
Yeah.
Pumps.
Her mom slept with Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, let's just be honest about that. My new hairs. She's look at guys. You know how we've been talking about Vegamore. It's working. I've got new growth. So sick. Okay.
Sick.
She's going rogue.
Did your mom wear tennis shoes and flats growing up?
You know, I can picture my mom. Remember when Keds were really popular?
So cute.
So cute. She was so cute in her little Keds.
Yeah.
I have a memory of Keds.
What about your mom?
I have no idea.
Did Jana rock heels to the supermarket?
No, I don't think I've ever seen my mom wear heels.
Mm.
She was a tennis shoes gal.
Yeah.
My mom can rock a heel.
My mom's savage. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Patricia
She looks
is
like she's ready for an
savage.
Emmy at all times.
Would she ever leave the house without makeup on?
Never.
Never.
Never once have I ever seen my mom leave the house without makeup on.
I do think it is generational. Because
Yeah.
my mom will be like, I don't have my makeup on.
Never once have I seen it.
My grandma was that way, but not my mom.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's different.
Wab, do you remember a year ago we spoofed all the romantic comedies, right?
When Alison Brie came on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because her movie was coming out and we were like, oh, let's do all the famous whatever.
That's fun.
So we did When Harry Met Sally, Bridget Jones, Love Actually, Say Anything. So of course, the infamous boombox scene, I tagged John Cusack in it a year ago.
Mhm.
And then just recently, he hearted it. And I wrote to him and I was like, dear God, I hope you watched the entire reel, not just the first part of it, which is us doing the scene from When Harry Met Sally and me faking an orgasm. And I said, please tell me you didn't think I just sent you a video of me faking an orgasm. To which he laughed and said, send the whole video again.
He thought that she thought he should see this.
And he loved it.
And he saw it and he was like, that's great. That's great. I'm dying. Wait, Rachel, can we just clip, Rob, can we just clip that one part of her faking the orgasm and let's send that to a bunch of random ass people
That's hilarious, guys.
and just be like, you should see this.
Yeah. Let's post it again and just tag as many celebrities as we can in it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hilarious, guys.
It's really
It's just how I slide into guys' DMs.
I'm dying. I'm dying. She thought I should see this.
What was going through it?
He probably was like, wow. I'll have
then
what
I
she's
just go
having.
down a wheelhouse of I was big in that romantic comedy space, in that time. So maybe she thought I would appreciate
No.
because it is Rob Reiner and Rob Reiner direct. You know what I mean?
Oh, you think his head went that far?
That's where I go. I go that far.
You do.
Yeah, burnt toast.
Burnt toast.
Okay, so anyways, that's our story.
We're sticking to it.
Do you guys want to do a question real quick?
Sure.
All right. How do I forgive my boyfriend for calling me unattractive?
Oh,
A few months ago, my boyfriend brought up the fact that he's not as attracted to me as he thought. I guess this hurt my self-esteem a little bit at the time, but ultimately he seemed to have changed his mind and now says he thinks I'm gorgeous. I gave it some thought and decided I would try to move past it because he seemed very genuine and also values me for my personality a lot, which I appreciate. It still does affect me a little bit, and I have doubts that he really has changed his mind suddenly. But I don't doubt that he loves me. I struggle a bit with low self-esteem sometimes, but ultimately I think I'm decent looking. Today, there was a new lady who came up to me at work and made a point that she thought I was very beautiful. I get compliments occasionally, and I don't think too much of them. But I ran into her later on in the shift, and she was very adamant that she thought I was so pretty. This made me feel really good about myself, but also sad because I sincerely doubt my boyfriend sees me in this way.
Ooh.
Attractiveness is subjective, and I think there are certain people who are more drawn to my appearance. But even then, my boyfriend is the only person who's ever genuinely called me unattractive. And I'm wondering if I deserve better. I know he loves me and I love him a lot. I feel like I can never fully heal my self-image and self-confidence because I haven't completely gotten over what he said. He's very well-intentioned but struggles understanding communication sometimes. and it can be difficult to feel like my own needs are being met. Should I forgive him or do I deserve better? I want to forgive him and just be happy, but I don't know how that would work.
I don't know. That was really not nice of him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually like a projection or like something insecure in him. So he felt like he had to put her down. That's my first feeling on it. What do you think?
Oh, I think he was just being honest. I know
Okay.
I've been through something like that, and it's like,
What?
well, Jeff told me I was an 8. And
What?
yeah, this was like way back. And I was like, but I'm like your wife. Like, I'm an 8 to you. Like, if I'm an 8, who the fuck is a 10? You know?
And what did he say?
So the years have come around, and now he's like, you're a 12 or whatever. But he was like, 10 is like unimagiable. And I'm like,
He's so like practical.
that's
you
what
know?
I'm saying. So I think that
I feel like Rob would do the same thing.
Like,
you know? Just practically.
I think that the guy was being practical with her. Like, maybe a little bit.
Too practical.
So that still, it definitely stayed with me. And even though he's like, you're my 10 now, inside I'm like, but I'm not. You know? I could be someone else's 10.
Do you need to be his 10? I guess is my question. Practically back to you.
So here's the thing. I feel like there was certain people, to them I would be their 10, and that feels good. I did not like the way that it felt to be an 8 to him.
Yeah, I guess like it's tough because that's a rough thing to say.
Would you ever say that?
No, I don't think I would ever say that. I know better than to say that.
Right.
But if he, like, it would also make him seem shallow if he's like, you're the hottest girl I've ever met, and that's why I'm dating you. Like, is that going to make you feel better?
Totally.
Okay, well.
One of my favorite memes I've seen was, you're a 10, but you put up with my overthinking, so you're a 100.
Yeah. I mean, I think that once someone says something like that, it's hard to unhear it.
Yeah, like that. So the thing is, it's in your mind.
Yeah.
But I also think that's a bad expectation to expect to be a 10 out of 10 for your partner. Like, I don't expect that from Natalie, for Natalie to think I'm a 10 if she's judging me with the world.
Yeah, I think I'm a little delusional. You know?
I will say, I think
you want your guy to think you're like,
you want your guy to be like, you're so beautiful. You're the,
he does, guys. Just
of course.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
I just mean to think that like you are the best thing in his eyes, right?
Yeah, but he told me Heidi Klum was a 10.
But yeah, Olivia, do you want him to like say that you and Heidi Klum are the same?
To some people, we might be. You know what I mean? Like, some guys might be like, I like them a little shorter, and I don't want those really long legs. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think that ever.
I mean, yeah, I think it's important that he's attracted. I think it's important. I'm going to remove this from you personally because I think it's getting a little touchy. Yeah, I don't think the fact that like I don't think your partner has to think you're the like hottest, most attractive person in the world.
Well, no, that'd be unrealistic.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
like, you don't think Jeff is the hottest man alive?
like if you did, you'd be baffled that he's not on the cover of GQ magazine and doesn't win hottest man of the year every year.
I think Jeff could fucking be on the cover of GQ magazine. I do.
But do you think he's the hottest man alive? Like,
I think Brad Pitt's the hottest man alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if Jeff were like in that world, he'd get hot man of the year or whatever.
Hot man of the year.
I do. I think he's a very good.
What is it called?
I think he's a very handsome man.
Sexiest man alive? I don't know.
Sexiest man alive.
I think so.
Yeah, I think if he was like an actor or something like that, he could get like a cover of GQ. I think he's a handsome man.
Let me ask you guys something really quick.
But it's all so subjective. Even that is.
In high school, you know how they do like the class bests.
Yeah.
Like best looking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At my school, they wouldn't say that. But you
Oh.
know what it was?
What?
Sexiest.
What?
In high
Swear to
school?
God.
What?
Swear to God.
Did you get it?
I'm not answering that question. It was like in the senior paper is where they did the best.
That is so insane.
And I know, I just thought of that right now. I haven't thought about that since high school. But they wouldn't say best looking because they were like, but sexy. That is so much worse.
So unreal. Did you get sexiest?
I'm not talking about this on
She
the
got
podcast.
fucking sexiest.
No,
Of
I
course
did
you
not.
did.
It's okay. I got prettiest eyes. According to Jeff, they're hard 8. See, that's what I mean, though. I'm not saying any of it affects anything, but it does stick with you. So when someone says to you that you're not attractive, like I remember this one girl in 9th grade that told me something that hurt my feelings, and it's always stayed with me.
Yeah,
And it still
absolutely.
hurts. She's like, you're only pretty because your eyes, if they were brown, you'd be average. And that is still
Of course,
like,
we all
yeah.
have those things.
Yeah, I'm not defending that he said she's unattractive. I'm just trying to break down the practicalities of expectations on attraction in partners, or what we think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what mattered to me in that conversation, like the practicality of it. So one time I was getting my nails done, and the guy was like, I know what the problem is with women in LA. And I was like, what is it? And he's like, nobody knows their number. They try and date outside of their number. And you've got a bunch of 6s trying to date 10s. And what they should do is they should date a number below them so that they're the ones winning. Okay?
Yeah, I don't love the whole scale thing because I like we said
The
before.
whole scale thing is garbage.
But
I
like we
get
said
it.
before, it's like what's attractive to someone is totally different to another person. Like
Right.
someone's 8 is someone else's.
You're just talking
10.
about looks.
No, it's just like a whole package. But then when I asked him, I was like, well, what are you? He's like, I'm like a 6.
Was he?
No, not the nail guy, Jeff.
Well, that should make you feel better though.
That's what I mean. Because he was
If-
like,
If he gave
so
you an 8,
unicorn is a 10.
if he gave you an 8 and he gave himself a 6,
Yeah.
that just means he's on a different scale.
Exactly. But the only reason I brought that up is not because of the scale system. It's because when people say things that hurt us, they stick. And
Yeah.
it's really hard to get past.
Yes. There's so many things.
Let's hear them.
I know. I'm like, let me list all the things. I don't know.
What hurt you, Rob, that you've never let go of?
I remember someone was drawing a picture of me in Spanish class in high school, and he said I had big ol' eyes. I'm like, I'm just gonna your big ol' eyes, and drew
I thought you said bagel eyes.
big ol' eyes. Yeah,
But what kind of bagel?
Okay, yeah, but what kind of bagel? But why did that bother you?
he wasn't saying it in a nice way.
Yeah. I have big
Oh.
eyes. I'm trying to think. Like
Big eyes
short
are
legs.
good.
I'm short. I got little legs. That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
One
So
time
many
someone said
things.
I was short, and I am.
One time I got voted sexiest person in my high school.
Stop it. Yeah, no, it's interesting though. Those things do stick.
And they seem to stick more than the positive, huh?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Rachel, you got to give us an example before we leave.
I did. Short legs. I have a complex.
Where did that come from? Who said it?
Multiple.
But we're talking about specific.
This isn't multiple choice. I choose multiple.
We're talking about specific instances that have stuck with us.
Yeah, like a guy who was like the most annoying guy I probably ever dated. But he liked to put me down because he was very insecure. This was like late teens, though. This is not anyone
Yeah.
people might be thinking of.
So you hear that? Don't fish around and try to put this on Rachel's dating timeline.
Yeah. It was before Rachel.
It was before
Before
Rachel
her.
was Rachel Bilson.
Shut up. No, but it was like late teens. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
know.
not anyone.
BOC.
Nobody knows who this person is.
Yeah, BOC.
POC. Yes.
All right. Well,
So we all have insecurities that
Great. I feel
Like
great
us.
now, guys.
yeah.
no, but people need to know.
Of course.
They're not alone. And
Nope. Not
All right. Do we need to go before we leave? Do we need to go around and say one nice thing about each other?
Yeah.
it's-
Rob
it's
has
your big
really-
old eyes.
Rob is such an amazing gift giver.
We're talking about this is all just physical today.
Oh,
You have very pretty eyes,
You-
Rob.
what color are they? I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
You do.
You do. You have pretty eye. You know, Rob, you have a very cute laugh.
Oh, that's not physical.
Oh, fuck. Rob,
You talk like a baby when you do this.
Bob, you have a very cute face.
Yeah.
No, you know what Rob has? Amazing calves.
Those are some strong calves.
Those are some Peloton
Those
calves.
are some Peloton calves. Those could crack a nut.
All right, Rob, your turn.
Your turn.
Well, no. I think Olivia should go now.
I went
See,
first.
Or you
so
guys wait, no, you gotta do-
pretty eyes.
I know you gotta go. All right. Olivia, you have very pretty eyes.
Thank you.
He did the same thing back that you did to
I
him.
know.
Well, but that's
I can't wait to hear this one. What is it, Rob?
you've got a cute little button nose.
Oh,
He
you
said
do have a
something
cute little
nice.
button nose.
You have a flawless face.
Oh shit, girl, you have a flawless
No.
face.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you have an abnormally, disgustingly beautiful
Wow.
face. It's true. It's gross.
You know who had a gross face because it was so cute?
Who?
Dylan.
Oh my God, I love Dylan's face.
We love your face, Dylan, and we love you.
and his hair and his
Everything. His
personality, and
personality,
his
though.
groundedness.
All of it. Love.
He's a gem.
Love.
That's serious.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.